The first heaven. This extraordinary tale begins with the unexpected arrival of two very tall men with radiant faces and raiments that have the appearance of feathers. They enter Enoch's home and demand that he go with them. Having made his departure, the righteous patriarch is taken up onto the wings of these two men who carry him off to heaven. When the prophet Enoch was taken up, he saw the air and then the ether. He then reached the first heaven, where 200 angels rule the stars. On approaching the paradisiacal realm, Enoch is allowed to rest temporarily on a moving cloud. From here, he gazes out over the treasures of the snow and ice and sees the angels who guard their terrible store places. Also set out before him is a very great sea, greater than any earthly sea. Moving on to the second heaven, Enoch is abhorred to find angelic prisoners suspended, awaiting some form of eternal punishment. This recalls the inhumane manner in which Shemyaza, the leader of the 200 rebel watchers, had been suspended upside down for his crimes against humanity. Those angels who guarded these poor wretched souls are themselves gloomy in appearance more than the darkness of the earth. Seeing the mortal, the shackled prisoners cry out for the patriarch to pray for them, to which he responds, "Who am I, a mortal man, that I should pray for angels?" In the third heaven, he saw the tree of life, with 4 streams of honey milk oil, and it was a place such as has never been known for the goodliness of its appearance. And I saw all the trees of beautiful colors, and their fruits ripe and fragrant, and all kinds of food which they produced. And in the midst there is the tree of life, in that place on which God rests when he comes into paradise. And this tree cannot be described for its excellence and sweet odor, and it is beautiful more than any created thing, wine flowing from its. The Garden of Eden appears to have more in common with an Israeli kibbutz, or with the gardens of a Christian monastery, than with an ethereal kingdom peopled by angelic hosts. Moreover, the reference to the tree of life on which God rests when he comes into paradise is strangely reminiscent of the tree of all remedies, or the tree of all seeds, on which the simurgh bird rests in Persian tradition. This heavenly tree is said to have been placed in the center of the Vaurukasha Sea, which is itself located in the Ariana Vaeja, the Iranian domain of the immortals. Curiously enough, like the Garden of Eden, the Vaurukasha Sea is seen as the gathering point of all water, fed by a mighty river named Haravaiti. From this waterway come 2 separate rivers that flow out towards the east and west and spread throughout the whole of the land. They then return to the sea, their waters cleansed of any impurities roots. The place of the righteous is in this heaven, and the terrible place where the wicked are tortured. There was also the place on which God rests when he comes into paradise. Enoch's third heaven seems very similar to the region known as Ilavartavarsa, which is described in the 5th canto of the Bhagavata Purana. Thus, in Ilavartavarsa, there are 4 gigantic trees, and 4 rivers flow from their roots, including a river of honey. There is also a city called Brahmapuri, which is visited by Lord Brahma, and which may correspond to the place on which God rests when he comes into paradise. According to the 5th canto of the Bhagavata Purana, Brahmapuri and the residences of 8 prominent devas, administrators of the universe, are situated on the top of a mountain in Ilavartavarsa called Meru, and therefore Mount Meru corresponds to the Greek Olympus. Thus, if Ilavartavarsa corresponds to Enoch's third heaven, then it is also reasonable to say that this third heaven corresponds to the Greek Olympus. In the 4th heaven he saw luminaries, wondrous creatures, and the host of the Lord. In the 4th heaven, Enoch enters what appears to have been another observatory, where he is able to study the comings and goings forth, and all the rays of the light of the sun and moon. Here he is able to measure the descent of the celestial bodies and compute their light. For he says that the sun has a light 7 times greater than the moon. He also realizes that there are 4 great stars, with another 8,000 stars in their charge. Here, once again, the angels' apparent interest in astronomy is reaffirmed. The study of the stars is, of course, listed among the forbidden sciences revealed to mortal kind by the rebel watchers. Enoch finds the 200 watchers who have transgressed the laws of heaven by revealing the forbidden arts and taking wives from among the daughters of men. For their misconduct, they have been incarcerated like lowly prisoners. As the mortal passes by, they, too, call out for him to help their claim of innocence. These fallen angels are described as Grigori, the Greek for watchers. They are said to have looked like men and to have borne a height greater than that of the giants, i.e. their Nephilim offspring. Enoch also recalls how their countenances were withered, bringing to mind the way in which the mythical Iranian kings would lose the royal far glory if they turned their backs on the path of truth. In the sixth heaven, Enoch encounters 7 bands of angels whose faces, he says, were shining more than the rays of the sun. They were resplendent, and there is no difference in their countenance, or their manner, or the style of their clothing. Like the angels in the first heaven, these shining beings watch the revolution of the stars and the changes of the moon, and the revolutions of the sun even further evidence that the term watchers relates not to their observation of mortal kind, but to their observation of the movement of stars and their study of the cycles of time. Here the angels superintend the good or evil condition of the world, a reference perhaps to the study of climatology and seismology and the way in which it affects the earth. These watchers also arrange teachings and instructions, and sweet speaking and singing, and all kinds of glorious praise. For these are the archangels who are appointed over the angels. In the 7th and final heaven, Enoch witnesses whole hosts of great archangels, cherubim, seraphim, and all sorts of incorporeal powers that attend the throne of God. In a separate rendition of this story, the patriarch finds himself alongside a wall built of crystals that is surrounded by mysterious tongues of fire. Its groundwork appears to be made of the same crystal-like stone, while of the building's interior, he recalls, its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. The temperature here also seemed contradictory, for it appeared to him as hot as fire and as cold as iceball at the same time. There were apparently no delights of life therein. In other words, he found no furniture or decoration, showing the apparent spareness and emptiness of this house. Yet then fear overcame Enoch, who suddenly found himself trembling and quaking at the awesomeness of the strange sights around him. Moving quickly onto a second house with a similar appearance, which excelled in splendor and magnificence, and extent Enoch now perceived a lofty throne of crystal. Upon this were moving wheels as bright as the shining sun, and from beneath it appeared to come streams of flaming fire so bright that he could not look upon them. And sat there on the throne was the great glory, whose raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter, and could behold his face by reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw nigh him.